Good evening, everyone. My name is David Shaw. I'm the Executive Vice President, Head of International and Content for the UFC. First, I'd like to say thanks to Yves Lalumiere and the team from Tourism Montreal for all their support throughout UFC 315 this week, as well as France-Margaret Bélanger and the entire Canadians organization here at the Bell Centre for hosting us. So the attendance tonight was 19,786. The gate was $6 million USD, which is 8.4 in CAD, the highest grossing event in arena history that's non-hockey. Fight of the night goes to Bilal and Jack Della. The performances go to Jasmine and Marc-Andre Barriault. Oscar.
Just, look, Montreal has this reputation as this crazy fan city, and we come out tonight and you hear the fans' reactions to a lot of the hometown fighters. Talk to us about your feelings of the return to Montreal and the fans in attendance.
I think it was great. It was excellent. I was here for the Four Nations in February, and it was really, really loud, and I felt like tonight reached several levels like that. So first and foremost, just nice to be back in this building. It's an incredible sports building. It's a great sports town. It's a wonderful town to be in just generally. Had a couple observations. I mentioned it a bit earlier, but one of the things that we noticed from the press conference and the weigh-in was that it seemed like the average age was somewhere in kind of the low, maybe mid-20s. And so for us, that means a lot. There's a lot of people in this country, and in Quebec, rightly so, that hang on to GSP, as well as Cote and Val and a number of others, Hominick and Stout, and a bunch of others who built the foundation for MMA. The fact that we had probably largely 20-year-olds who were in the press conference and at the weigh-ins really meant to us that the fan base is now almost not recycling, but it's growing. There's a new tier of fans that are supporting us here in Montreal and in Canada, and that meant a lot. I also thought that the support that we got from the city was great all week, and some of the activations that were conducted just meant like it was a really nice return to Montreal after a long time.
You mentioned the new age of fans. There's also a new age of fighters in Jasmine and Mike, and I'm reminded of when we went back to London after COVID. You had all the English fighters rattle off wins, and you felt like this new swell of MMA. I don't think it's unfair to say Canada MMA has been lacking for a little while. Did you feel like tonight was maybe a turning point in that relationship with MMA in this country, and do you think you can build off tonight and return to Canada with more and more cards moving forward?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, between Eamon and Jazz and Mike, the performances there were incredible. Saying the torch has been passed is a little bit cliche, but I think that these guys have put in a lot of work in the last few years. Some have had setbacks, some haven't. But the performances tonight certainly catapult them into the next sort of tier, next chapter of MMA in this country.
As we're sort of just starting to ramp up the events in Canada, but do you see Montreal moving forward as a fixture of the calendar year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for us in our minds, Montreal is a pay-per-view city. And so there are a number of pay-per-view cities in Canada. We're trying to get back to maybe 3 events a year. So it's it certainly won't be as long as it's been before we return.
Right. Obviously, the big story is Canada and all the superstars they had come out of this card. But you have another Australian champion in Jack now. So I know you guys there's these rumors of these Perth fight nights and everything. But is there even a possibility of Jack maybe making that a pay-per-view now? Because Jack seems like it was great to have Volk fight there, but now to have a champion from Perth as an actual possibility.
Yeah, I mean it absolutely could be. I had the entire Australia team texting tonight and be like, so what are we going to do in the next pay-per-view in Perth? So we've got lots of support, I think, as everyone knows, from Tourism Western Australia. The events that we've had at the RAC Arena have been fantastic, 100%.
Just last one for me, Jose Aldo, basically just said he doesn't really have it in him to do this anymore. So just what was your reaction to seeing, we've seen it before, but this just seemed a little more emotional than the last time he decided to hang it up.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I was confused or he just sort of ran out of gas, but, that flurry that had the kick followed by Eamon's sort of crunch on the close side, at least on Dana's side of the octagon, I was confused at, at what point did he either run out of gas or did he get smoked, because he kind of went from being on full offense to now on defense, and then clearly ran out of steam at the end of the fight. What's my reaction? I mean, he's King of Rio. He's one of the most important athletes we've had in our sport. He, despite an illustrious career, has had these fights where he's absolutely looked like he's got it. Like he came to fight. First couple rounds, we were all so impressed. This is a decision that he's got to make for himself, for his family. But no matter what he decides, he's leaving a really important legacy in not only Brazil but the world of MMA. Long live WEC.
Dave, right here. I think a lot of people are expecting Dana to come to the press conference tonight. Maybe
Lunch bag letdown, huh?
No, but maybe make it. Do you have an International Fight Week announcement for us? I guess I think that's what
I don't. I can give you the standard. You got to wait till Tuesday. But no, listen. Dana talked about it in the press conference on Thursday. There were a few different scenarios that he laid out. I'm not gonna. I don't know what the decision is, but I suspect you'll hear more this week.
Yeah, just had to ask.
Of course.
Thanks. Obviously, Marc-Andre, Jazz, Mike Malott, Amen. A lot of momentum here for Canada. We've heard rumors about another Canadian date in the fall. Is there any update on that front? Because that would seem like a landing spot for at least some of them.
The update is that we will have a date. The lack of update is that we don't have a date to disclose, nor do we have a city to disclose. But we're actively working on it. Not going to happen in the summer. So we're looking at the fall, October, November.
Sounds good. And there was kind of a weird situation this week with Alex Pereira coming out and a tweet that he put out saying he was unhappy with the UFC, and then he turned around and said, I was hacked, and then DC came out and pretty much called him a liar. So I'm just wondering,
Really?
Is everything good on the Peloton front?
I don't know anything about that. That's funny. I assume everything's good. Yeah, I haven't heard it otherwise.
And then last one for me, just talking about Jasmine in particular. She says she wants to be #1 ranked next year, and coming off a performance like that over Jessica Andrade, do you see that as a possibility? You think she can do that?
Yeah, I think, in talking to Sean and Mick after the fight, and one of the decisions that went into, I think, her getting the performance bonus was the fact that, she really just handled Andrade. Didn't give her a chance to do anything. So the performance was remarkable. Former champ against a legend. Yeah, she's going to just continue to rise the ranks. I'm not sure I can't really sort of place where she's going to be or what the next fight's going to be, but she's demonstrated, and her body of work has demonstrated that she's put herself in a position to have another big fight.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just a quick question about Nassourdine. We heard rumors
About
from
Nassourdine?
Yeah, because unfortunately it doesn't go well for Manon. But we heard rumors from Caio Borralho, who said that he will face Nassourdine next. But Nassourdine just won against Adesanya, who was better ranked. What's next for him? Do you have information? Will he fight for a title shot next, or can we wait for something else like the Caio Borralho fight?
Yeah, listen, I don't have information on his next fight. We had some pretty incredible support from our partners in France this week in Montreal, especially from RMC, who not only supported the athletes on the card but created a bunch of great content to continue to lift. This was a calculated decision, right? We wanted to bring as many French athletes, whether you were Quebecois or you were from France, to compete on this card. We thought it meant a lot, the impact it could have in the city, the ability for us to promote and sell tickets, which obviously, that thesis worked out well. But in terms of what's next for Nassourdine, I don't know, other than we really want to get back to Paris, and so the hope is that we're going to be back in Paris at some point later this year, and if we can't, then definitely early next year, because we've had 3 straight events at the Accor Arena that have been a massive success.
It will be difficult to have a title shot in a fight night, because Paris, it's only fight night for now.
Before?
Yeah, I know.
Before?
So it's not impossible to have a title shot for a fight night.
Yeah, or maybe it becomes a pay-per-view. There's a lot of different scenarios.
Thank you.
But I can't comment on what's next for Nassourdine, other than I was there in Riyadh when he beat Izzy, and he looked incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Manon had a good performance, even though she lost. Is that a potential problem for having a next event in Paris? The fact that
Nope.
she didn't win the title, there's no connection between these two things?
No, I think between sort of the bona fide stars, whether it's Cyril, Manon, Benoit, Nassourdine, or some of the rising stars, Taylor, Faraz, and others, Nora, we feel really confident that whether Manon won or lost tonight, the objective of getting back to Paris doesn't change.
What do you think of her performance?
Of Manon's performance, it was great. You're up against a mercenary. You're up against a absolute certified. I mean, she's a bona fide. She is one of the best of all time. I thought Manon was great. I thought she held her own and she battled hard. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than like she took her to the limit and she nearly won the fight. All right, thanks everybody. Take care.